what is your opinion on, on the level of society's awareness nowadays when it comes to the reaction of these sort of global conflicts that we're seeing nowadays? Like, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic towards the way that people and the society as a whole react, perceive, and act towards these sort of situations? Like, are you optimistic towards the level of humanity, of intelligence, or
Are you sure you are you sure you want me to answer that?
actually, yes, because I've been I've been very much I'd say labeled as a very pessimistic person when it comes to topics of this sort. So I would love to hear the opinion of a person who I know has a better outlook on this matter than myself.
So I'm not super optimistic,
Mhm,
but I'm actually not as pessimistic as I have been
mhm,
in the past couple of years. So most of my pessimism grows out of the fact that a number of our political leaders are choosing to put their own impunity and their own power and their own needs before the people that they've been elected to serve.
mhm,
So they have taken advantage of this sort of chaotic information world that now exists, and they're exploiting it for themselves, which is
mhm,
not very responsible for
mhm,
a public servant. It is
mhm,
not serving the people that they are supposed to be serving, it is serving themselves. And unfortunately, we have a number of people who are doing that. On the brighter side, I think a lot of the general public is starting to tune in a bit more to this information war battlefield, this war, this
mhm,
information war that is going on around us. Because it is in so many things. I mean, it's not just the Ukraine war. It's not just how China is doing it, but it's used now for domestic politics. It's used. We see it absolutely everywhere. And I think because there has been so much discussion about it, that slowly that is working its way into the mainstream, where people know now and understand I need to be a little bit more wary of the information that I'm consuming and how I react to it. But globally, we're still seeing this slide away from democracy and towards authoritarianism. We're seeing more and more governments that are willingly corrupt. I mean, most of what I refer to has been back to the United States, but it happens in Europe as well, of course, and elsewhere. If we look at the current this recent case of Qatargate,
yeah,
where Qatar was buying people to literally stand up in the European Parliament and say things on their behalf. And that's it. When people are for sale for that, and when that corruption is allowed to take place with zero accountability, when we allow these things to happen, so it's in our hands to fix it, but there has to be this willingness to do so. And I think a lot of that again starts with our leadership, but they are accepting the corruption, they're benefiting from that corruption. But the more we as a people, as the citizens who vote for these people, the more we learn about it, the more accountability I hope will demand. And I hope that we start to see some accountability.
mhm. And I think you very accurately mentioned the significance of the political leaders being responsible for everything that's been happening. Um, do you have faith that in the near future or in the future in general, um, this problem, this issue will be solved and things in a global perspective will become better in terms of, the interconnection between the different countries, the interest that they have between each other and the way that they communicate between each other? Or do you think that this strive for power and achieving their personal interests will grow even stronger, and subsequently the global situations will become more challenging and worse for the for the people?
Well, it depends what timeline we're looking at. In the short term, I see it getting worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about this. I'm trying to get it to trend. So let's make this go somewhere. This Faustian capitalism is what I call it,
Yeah.
where we're willing to sort of do business for very quick, short-term profit, even if it supersedes our values, even if we're sort of selling democracy or selling our values in order to make that profit.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we keep doing business with these more authoritarian regimes like China and others, Russia,
Mm-hmm.
they are empowered to keep doing a lot of the bad things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is attacking democracy and destabilizing democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order for them to stay in power, they have to prove that democracy is a terrible system.
Mm-hmm.
And so they work to destabilize us. And we sort of give them money because we make money in the short term with them. So that dynamic has to change. And that's what we need to start understanding. And that's in our hands. Again, that's up to us to change it. But again, I think it will get worse before it gets better. So speaking over a term of, the next 5 or 10 years, I'm not so sure. But if we look ahead generationally, assuming that there is a world that isn't on fire, literally, then maybe, the next generation of leadership will be a little bit more responsible.